Want to make a quilt block that looks fancy but is actually very beginner friendly? Today I'll show you how to stitch together this pinwheel twist in no time. Welcome to Straight Stitching. I'm Tiffany. I'm here to share my passion for quilting, helping beginners build skills, confidence, and community one stitch at a time. Okay, so for today's pinwheel twist, you're going to need 8 pieces of material that measure at 6.5 by 2.5 inches squared. And you're going to really just want to take 4 pieces of material and cut them 2 each in the size of 6.5 by 2.5 inches squared. Then you're going to also need 8 pieces of background material that measure at 3.5 inches squared. Once you have your background material cut, you're going to want to draw a diagonal line from corner to corner. And we're going to use this as our guideline as we make our blocks here. So the first thing we're going to do is line up one of the pieces of background in the corner of our material here. And then we're going to take this to our sewing machine and we're going to just stitch right along this line. And then we're going to use the stitch and flip method to trim this off so that we'll end up with 1 piece of material here with the background piece in the top corner. So if you want to do this and somewhat speed up your work here, I'm going to just lay out each of the pieces of background material and I'm going to pin them so that I can take them all to my sewing machine and sew them all at the same time. And I don't have to worry about the background square moving while I'm transporting it to the sewing machine. Okay, so for each of our 8 pieces here, we have our background material pinned on. And so now we're going to just go to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch right along this line. The next step is to flip your background pieces up. So I'm going to flip it up here. And then I like to press it at this point and then come back and open this up and then do the trimming off at 1/4 inch away from the stitch line. So I'm going to just go ahead and finger press all of these background pieces up. Then I'm going to press them with my iron and then I will come back and cut them. Okay, so now I'm going to just open this up a little bit here, line up my 1/4 inch line on the stitch line, and I'm going to just trim this off. And I'll do that for all 8 pieces. Okay, so next you're going to lay out your actual block. So this is where you can be a little creative in determining which colors you want to go together. Okay, so now the next thing you're going to do is, next you're going to take, in each of these quadrants, you're going to just sew the 2 pieces of material together. So I'm just going to flip here, and then I'm going to sew this together using 1/4 inch seam, and I will do the same for the other 3. Okay, so the next step is to actually press your seam. So each of the quadrants have been pressed. The seams are flat open. And so now the next step is to just complete your two halves. So I'm just going to flip these over and I'm going to sew along this edge here using a 1/4 inch seam. So here is the completed block. This is a pinwheel twist. So what do you think of this pinwheel twist block? I love to hear how you use it, maybe in a baby quilt, a scrappy throw, or even a sampler. Drop your ideas in the comments below because I always love seeing and hearing from you all. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps more quilters find my channel. And if you're new here, subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss my next beginner-friendly quilting tutorial. And before you go, make sure you grab my free half square triangle cheat sheet. I'll leave a link to it in the show notes. Thanks so much for stitching along with me today. Until next time, keep your bobbins full and your seams straight.